Hi peeps, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Runzi. I'm an artist, but I mainly enjoy talking about mental hygiene, personal development, and spirituality related topics. So if you're interested in any of this, please hit subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. I'm probably the last person when it comes to following drama trends or movie trends. I'm not a big fan of watching movies or dramas, but recently I just started watching True Beauty, which is a Korean series based on a manhwa. Honestly, when I hop onto this series, I totally expected something lighthearted. Like, I just want to have a good laugh out of watching this lighthearted rom-com, but it turned out to be more triggering than I expected, especially at the beginning where Joo-kyung was being bullied and ridiculed for her appearance.
야, 이딴 거 할 시간에 거울이나 좀 봐.
가르쳐줘? 응? 못생겨서.
That's just really sad, but unfortunately, that's what's happening around us in the society, whether we want it or not. Which leads me to what I want to talk about today: pretty privilege. Now, beauty is a topic that I'm really interested in. It's a topic that I'm really passionate in, but I want to discuss about pretty privilege, whether it is a thing or it is not, and what you can work on yourself, how you can work on yourself to level up in your life, whether or not you win the genetic lottery. Before I jump into the video, if you are being bullied or ridiculed like how Joo-kyung is, it's really disheartening to watch, to be honest. That whole scene is kind of triggering to me. I personally don't think that anyone deserves to be bullied that way just because of the way that they look. In fact, I don't think anyone should be bullied at all. If you are experiencing things like that, please talk to someone. Please contact a hotline or talk to someone that you can trust, a therapist, a counselor, whoever. Please reach out to someone because nobody deserves to be treated that way. Just because someone is born naturally beautiful or just because someone looks better than you, it doesn't give them the rights to mistreat others. Because come on, let's be real, everybody grows old, everybody will lose their youth, and we are going to look old and more or less the same eventually. So what's the point being so harsh to others? Studies have shown that people tend to trust others that are more good looking, that are more put together, that are more attractive. Just take a look at a lot of cult leaders or psychopaths. They tend to put themselves together, they have an image going on for them, they carry themselves well so that they conceal all their bad intentions, and people tend to overlook that. We tend to forgive people that are more attractive. Even toddlers, since a young age, babies, toddlers recognize beautiful faces more. Like, they tend to draw themselves towards more attractive people. So this is a prevalent thing among us. Unfortunately, this is just how the human brains are wired. Before I upset anyone, I just want to be clear that this is just how human nature is. This is just how we are wired, how we function. So don't be a hypocrite, because it happens to all of us. We tend to like people that are more attractive. Of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. People have different tastes, different preferences, but we have a certain standard, which is the conventional beauty standard. We tend to draw towards a certain type of people. If you take a look at celebrities, for example, we tend to stand people that are more good looking compared to people that are least good looking. Take a look at K-pop groups, for example. Look at the most popular member within the group. It's most likely the more good looking, the most good looking one, if not. Let's say you are someone that is not conventionally beautiful, or you believe that you are born looking mediocre or less attractive. I want to let you know that that is not permanent. You can always change the way that you look. You can always improve on yourself, and there are other things that you can focus on instead of just your physical appearance. The first thing that you can work on is to stop comparing yourself to other girls. I do know that this is really difficult for us to do, especially now there's social media, and especially there's just so many attractive people everywhere now with the access to makeup, cosmetic surgery, whatever it is that's going on out there. it's really hard for us to not compare ourselves to the girl next to us. Although it is almost impossible for us to not compare ourselves to other girls, but there are things that you can focus on instead of just comparing and being bitter. It's really easy for us to put someone else on a pedestal and belittle ourselves, but it's really important for us to look at people, as humans, instead of how they look. I do understand that it's really hard because, like I say, we are wired to like beautiful, attractive people, whether it's a male or female. If it's a girl, we tend to compare ourselves to them. If it's a man, we might be attracted to them, and they might be a dusty. We might forgive them for all their trashy mistakes that they did on us. So you have to first look at people as people. If you find yourself comparing to a girl, you have to question yourself, why am I putting myself down because of how she looks? Is it because she has the body that I want? If so, maybe there's something you can work on yourself to achieve what she has. Or is it because the makeup that she wears, you like how she put on her makeup? Then maybe you can ask her like how she put on her makeup, and you can learn a thing or two from her instead of being jealous. And if it's her natural beauty that you're envious of, if she's taller, if she's shorter, if she's petite, if she has beautiful facial features, which it's kind of hard for you to replicate that because of course we're all born different, and there's plastic surgery, but that's an extreme length that you have to go to just to look like someone else. I don't think it's worth it at all. But if you find that that's you, that you tend to compare yourself to other girls, just question yourself, why? And just because you find them attractive doesn't mean everyone else will find them attractive. Just put a bunch of attractive girls together and ask yourself, or ask your friends. Most likely all of you might have a different preference. You might think this is the most beautiful girl, but your friend might like the other girl. Everyone has different preferences. So you have to understand that just because you find someone else attractive doesn't make you less attractive. And if you compare yourself to someone else that's on a stage, if it's a celebrity, if it's a model, it's really unfair to yourself. Think of it. They spend hours and hours and hours polishing themselves. They have a whole team going on for them, doing their hair, doing the makeup. They have access to cosmetic surgery, skin dermatologists. They have a lot of access to all these beauty procedures that you might not have access to. Of course, I think that it's really important for us to take care of our beauty, but you shouldn't be comparing to people who have access to all things like that. You don't have a whole team of stylists following you. You don't have a whole team of makeup artists behind you. So instead of comparing yourself to them, just try to learn from them. Try to learn what you can pick up from them. Maybe you like their hairstyle. Maybe you like the way that they do their makeup. Maybe it's the way that they carry themselves or their style. You can always borrow a little here and there and combine them and make it into your own style. Of course, I think that it's really ridiculous if you try to look like someone else, because people might like you the way that you are, and you can work on the features that you are naturally born with. You can work on what you already have instead of trying so hard to look like them. You might lose your charms, you might lose your identity, you might just look like another wannabe of that person. So why do that? Just focus on what you can work on yourself instead of trying to copy how someone else looks like. Now, if it's a guy, this can be a little bit problematic, especially for younger girls. Just look at people like Ted Bundy, Seungri, all these problematic men that are somewhat attractive. I personally don't find them attractive, but there are people who think that they are attractive for the way they carry themselves, how they present themselves, the way that they dress and things like that, the way that they speak. You might find yourself being drawn towards a certain type of attractive man, which might be dusties. I know it's really hard, but just try to imagine if you strip down that mask, that vessel, we're all the same on the inside. Maybe we are a little bit different. We have different bone structures, different body composition, but if you strip everything down, in the end of the day, we're all just skeletons and a bunch of meat. We're just human vessels. So you have to look at people as essence instead of how they look like, because you are going to be scammed, you are going to be tricked, you are going to fall in love with dusties and constantly forgive them just because of how they look. Stop settling out of fear. Just because you like how you look like beside someone else doesn't mean that they are the best person for you. You have to be very conscious that pretty privilege is a thing. It can be problematic, but it can also be a good thing. So you have to look at things in a whole spectrum instead of just trying to look at things in a black and white picture. Now, why do I mention that pretty privilege can bring benefits into your life? Just do a social experiment for yourself. If you just woke up from the bed, don't shower, don't brush your teeth, don't even comb your hair, just go out, go to the grocery or wherever you want, go to school, just get out there looking like that. Versus the next day, try to dress pretty, try to dress well, carry yourself well, do your hair, wash your face, whatever that you want to groom yourself. See the way people treat you. Look at the differences. It's gonna be a very huge difference. Whether or not you are naturally beautiful, if you still don't carry yourself in a good way, you're still gonna get different treatments, trust me. So like I mentioned, if you carry yourself appropriately, you dress yourself up, you look decent, people will tend to respect you more and you will attract more opportunities, you will attract more trust, more quality people into your life. Because let's be real, likes attract likes. If you look like a dusty, you're going to attract a lot of dusties into your life. So you want to carry yourself in a way that you put yourself first. You respect yourself enough to look your best before leaving your house. Even if you're at home, you have to develop this mindset of I am doing this for myself. When you don't like yourself, everything that you do is going to go south. I personally do strongly believe that your appearance will affect your confidence as well. Of course, not everyone are naturally born with good looking appearance, but I do strongly believe that regardless of how you look, you still have to present yourself the best. You still have to look good for yourself. You have to learn how to like the way that you look. Regardless of how naturally beautiful you are, if you don't appreciate yourself with what you're given, you are going to look horrible in the end of the day. You are going to do absurd things to yourself to damage yourself, to damage the existing vessel that you have. You might do really self-deprecating actions or taking I don't know if I can mention it, taking drugs, smoking, drinking excessive alcohol, ruin your skin, not sleeping, all these things, being obese. What's the point of having a naturally beautiful and attractive body? You are still going to ruin yourself in the end of the day. Same goes to people who are less attractive. If let's say you constantly put in the effort, the energy to invest on yourself, to level up on yourself, in the end of the day, you might even surpass all these people that are naturally beautiful. So stop looking at things in a very narrow light. Stop having that tunnel vision where if everyone thinks that you're unattractive, means that you're going to be unattractive for the rest of your life, because things can always change as long as you want to. But you have to always question yourself, why am I doing this? If you think that it is going to be worth it in the end of the day, if you're doing this for yourself, then by all means, go for it. If you're doing it just because you want to fit into a certain community, just because you want to get rid of your bullies, just because you want a certain guy to fall in love with you or girl, I don't think it's worth it at all, because you don't even love yourself. You are constantly pleasing other people. As humans, I do think that we need social validation to feel confident in this society, in things that we're working on, to feel like we belong somewhere, because this is just how the human nature works. But if you are constantly focusing on what others have, what others want from you, you are eventually going to be so burned out to the point that you will give up on everything that you ever start. And the losses are going to be more than the gains. So you have to understand, why are you doing certain things in the first place? If you're doing it out of self-respect, if you believe that you deserve to look a certain way, then by all means, go for it. If you're someone that enjoys watching dramas with a plain Jane and a really handsome man falling in love with her, chances are that's not gonna happen in real life, because men are very visual creatures. If you are someone that looks like how Joo-kyung looks like in the beginning of the drama and you expect Cha In-woo to fall in love with you, think again. Even women, we tend to be quite visual as well. It's just that men, they are more wired towards visual appearance. Men prefer women that are younger, that are more prettier or more just feminine in general. But women, most of the time, we tend to look past appearance, especially if you're older. We tend to stop judging appearance that much, and we tend to want stability more. So there are different criteria that we want from each other. And if you are from the same gender, I mean, if you're into same gender relationships, I think there is also a polar feminine and masculine opposites, so it works the same regardless of your gender. It's just that if you are more good looking as a woman, of course naturally you will be able to attract more opportunities, and by opportunities I mean mates. Even in your work environment, if you put yourself together, you will find your male colleagues treating you better compared to someone that's not put together. Unfortunately, this is just how the society works. And this doesn't apply to just young women. Even if you're older, even if you're a mature woman, if you put yourself together, you will find that people will still treat you pretty well. So like I say, you will not attract a Cha Eun-woo if you look like how Im Jo-kyung looks like in the beginning. Unfortunately, this is just not how life works. The whole 50 Shades of Grey, plain Jane looking and a CEO thing is not going to work, just because, like I say, men are visual creatures, whether you want to believe it or not. Of course, there are always exceptions. There will be people who are attracted to your personality. There will be people who are attracted towards how you are, like how they like feeling around you, how you make them feel. There are always exceptions. Looks won't guarantee a perfect man. They will attract good quality men, but they will not make them stay. It's your personality, it's your qualities that make someone stay. For example, just take a look at all the supermodels, actresses, celebrities that are so beautiful, so attractive, but still get cheated on. So if you want to keep a relationship, it's not just your appearance. Your appearance won't make someone stay. It won't make someone be loyal to you. It's your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, how you work on yourself, and your self-respect, most importantly. You have to know yourself first. You have to know what you deserve. You have to respect yourself. And of course, putting yourself together is a part of self-respect. If you don't first respect yourself, if you just let yourself loose, whether or not you're in a relationship, in the end of the day, people are going to walk all over you, and you are not a doormat. You don't deserve to be treated that way. You have to constantly level up on yourself to the point that you are able to fall in love with yourself. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it is true. If you personally don't think that you're able to love yourself or appreciate yourself, like how the way you are inside out, you have to constantly level up on that aspect to the point that when you look at yourself, or when you think about yourself, you can see yourself as someone that you look up to. And of course, I think that appearance is important in this aspect, but I also think that if you just work on your appearance but you don't work on your core, who you are on the inside. So regardless of how good you look, if you don't work on yourself, if you don't like yourself, in the end of the day, even if you attract the person that you want to, even if you attract the job that you want to, even if you attract the attention that you want to, you are not gonna like yourself. You are going to live a very miserable life, because eventually people are going to find out who you truly are. I'm not talking about your appearance, not like Jo-kyung, not in Jo-kyung's case. People are going to find out that you are just an empty shell. You have nothing to offer. You have no qualities. You don't even know what you are. You don't even know what you can offer. You don't even know what you like or what your passion is. You are just an empty shell. You live a very miserable life. You have nothing to live for other than to please other people, other than to appear good looking. You have nothing else. If you don't like yourself, even though everyone around you are constantly praising you, if you don't like yourself, even though you think that you are somewhat conventionally beautiful, or if you are being cheated on or being mistreated despite how beautiful you are, chances are you have a lot of unresolved issues on the inside. So I will say, focus on working on your core essence, working on yourself on the inside first, instead of constantly trying to please other people. On the other end, if you are someone that has low self-esteem because of your looks, because of how you were bullied, how you were being ridiculed, or just how you don't like the way you look compared to others, like I say, there are always things that you can work on yourself instead of being jealous, instead of being bitter, instead of making all these self-deprecating jokes, which is a self-fulfilling prophecy, by the way. I am an advocate for talking into existence. Whatever that you believe in, whatever that you truly, truly, genuinely believe that you are, it's going to end up becoming your reality. So you have to be very careful of the words that you describe yourself, how you describe yourself. You have to be very careful with that. If you find that you are not attractive, you have to understand there are always ways that you can improve on yourself. But of course, it has to come hand in hand with your personality, your emotional stability, your mental health. Everything has to come hand in hand. So yeah, I feel like this is a pep talk from a big sister. I had been through there. I was being ridiculed for my appearance since I was really young, and I still get it from time to time as an adult. As a woman, I think we are constantly being ridiculed for the way we look. Too much makeup, too little makeup, too fat, too thick, too tall, too skinny, too short, whatever. It's always there. People always have something to say about us, but you have to first learn how to love yourself and appreciate yourself and know what your standards are, so you can work towards improving yourself for yourself based on what you personally like, instead of improving yourself based on how others want you to look like. I really hope that you find this video helpful, and I am going to continue watching True Beauty. I personally really enjoy watching rom-coms like that. It's really cute and funny at the same time, but the part about Pretty Privilege is pretty realistic, to be honest. I had seen it firsthand. I personally had experienced it a little bit here and there in the past. Nothing too extreme, but I had seen things like that happening in my school back then. It was really disheartening, and if you are being bullied, please reach out to someone and talk about it. Please always prioritize your mental health first, and everything else can come naturally after that. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. If you have any topics that you wish to discuss about, feel free to leave them at the comment section down below. I will always reach back to you guys. I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.